I am so honored and thrilled, blown away to introduce you to one of the top vegan chefs on the planet, Anais Galpin. I think I pronounced that right. You are in France. I'm in LA. You are in France. This is so exciting. I just want to say very quickly to those who are watching, because you're about to make an incredible recipe, take a look at some of her creations. They are works of art, and I could go on all day. She has worked with the other famed chef, Matthew Kenney, to create the incredible recipe dishes for Laduree in Beverly Hills, one of the très chic places to go if you're a vegan. So I'm going to let you take it away. Tell us what you're making. And once again, thank you for being here. So honored.
That's my honor, my great pleasure. So thank you for this introduction. I'm so happy today to share with you simple yet complicated and simple recipe at the same time. Simple because it's just 3 components, but a bit complex because there's a few technical things we want to go through. So basically, it's gonna be like a tartlet, but with a biscuit which is very crispy, way crispier than what you have sometimes with a sweet dough, for example. Then we're gonna have like sort of a pastry cream. It's a vanilla cream. It's kind of a mix of pastry cream with a bit of vegan butter. And in this way, it's called a mousseline in France. It's a mousseline cream.
I love it. Go for it. Show us what you're making.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Show us some of the fabulous ingredients. Take it away. Show us the food.
So the food. So I prepared everything, but we're going to go through everything together. I hope we're going to have some time.
Yes.
So basically, it's a base. The biscuit is like this. So this is, a biscuit which is called Palais Breton in French. From Brittany, and it's very crispy, and there's some fleur de sel, and there's a mix of salty and sweet, and it's very nice and perfect for a base of a simple tartlet. Then we're gonna add some the pastry cream I explained on the top, and we're gonna leave some space in the center to introduce some marinated strawberries. I know it's almost the end of the summer, but I think it could be, nice. And because you're in California, I think it's interesting to use strawberries. So I diced some strawberries very thinly, and I'm gonna add some lemon juice, some basil, and a bit of lemon zest, yellow here. And it's gonna be perfect. And finally, we're gonna add some fresh fruits. So here it's gonna be some strawberries and some red currants. We have a lot of them here in France, but I think you have some in California too. So I tried my best to have ingredients that you can have access to in the USA. We are very you are very lucky in California to have a lot of these. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be quite easy to reproduce. So
we want to see the food. Let's go for it.
Okay, so first we're gonna prepare the marinade. So I started to dice some strawberries. So very easy. You take the strawberries, you make some very thin slices. I'm gonna show you with 1 or 2. So you take here your cutting board, and then you have, you take a strawberry, you cut the tip, you have the strawberry, you make some slices, okay? Basic, and then it takes some time, but it's worth it. And then you cut in other slices and you dice like this. I don't know if you can see me, but basically it's very nice.
Perfectly. We see you perfectly. Just keep what you had was perfect. We could really see it. So tilt down so we could see what you're doing.
Perfect. I'm gonna do that. So when you're ready, you have you have a bit of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think it's nice rather than cutting them, just in half. I like to cut them very thinly because it allows the flavors to, it enhances the flavors for me. So this is the first part, and we do this now because it's gonna sit while we prepare the rest. Then I'm gonna squeeze the lemon juice.
Oh.
Yeah, not too much, just to add a bit of flavor and intensity to the dessert because it's gonna be a bit sweet. So I like to have some contrast. So here we have. I'm gonna use this and I'm mixing it a bit. I'm adding a bit of basil. So you see here, I have some chiffonade, of basil. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I'm adding it a bit, just as you like it, as as you prefer, according to your taste. It could be anything else. Just enjoy yourself, create. It's perfect. And I'm gonna show you in 1 second the chiffonade, but first, let me show you. I love this tool. It's called the microplane. And for the zests, I like it because it's very, very thin. Again, I like thin things.
See, I know why the French stay so thin. You've been cooking for a couple of minutes, and I think there's probably 50 calories involved.
So you see, it's very thin, and you can put as much as you want and just mix it all. And finally, because we are in pastry, we need some sugar. So adding a bit of sugar. So here I like to use Blanc sugar because it's a bit less refined than white sugar. Just, again, according to your taste, you mix again, and we let it sit while we prepare the rest. But first, let me show you how to prepare a chiffonade. So very, very simple. Okay, so you take your basil. So I have and again, it's great because it's easy to make when you have a lot of basil leaves and you want to do it all at once. So you just, pile them up like this. Maybe you already know, but I'm showing you. And then you roll them as, a cigar. Is it? Okay, so you roll them and then you just cut them like this very thinly. And you have what it's called a chiffonade.
And tell me again, what is the green?
Oh, it's basil.
Oh, wow.
Plain and simple.
Wow, this is amazing.
You could put like some, vinegar, balsamic vinegar. I must admit, I love to use alcohol in my desserts. And because I'm in France, I love to put some wine. And last time I used some, rosé wine. You could do that too. It just brings some taste, just to avoid to give it to the children. But otherwise, I love to do this.
Well, let me say this. One thing I'm seeing, and I noticed this with Matthew Kenney as well, who we videotaped for our show, New Day, New Chef, and his segment is coming up. You guys are very methodical, very neat, very clean, and it's not a lot of food. It's a small amount of food, really carefully prepared, so that it's almost like a taste sensation. Can you, while you're cooking, elaborate on that? Because, it's really different. You're not just making large quantities of food.
Yes, I think, you know what, it's and I'm inspired by a few chefs who do that already. For example, Alain Ducasse or other famous chefs in France and elsewhere in the world. I think it's great because you have to choose very well your product. If you have an amazing product, you can do anything. I'm thinking also about, Alain Passard. He just, because the products come from, the veggies come from, his gardens. He has some orchards and everything, and he ensures of the quality, and it changes literally everything. So, and you are very lucky, guys, to be in California because, California, it's a treasure. So, of course, other people are elsewhere, but I'm pretty sure that in every region you have amazing people producing very refined products, very real products. So just pay attention to that because it's going to change the whole thing. It's a game changer, honestly.
I love it. I love it.
So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the pastry cream. Okay. So let me try. I'm in my grandparents' kitchen right now. So I'm just discovering, a few stuff. So for the pastry cream, we're going to need first Okay, in the right order. Sugar. I'm gonna, of course, provide a recipe with the exact, quantities.
Sure.
Sugar. Again, it's cane sugar. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, it's cane sugar. Okay, it's a blonde cane sugar, but you could use any kind of sugar you like. So this is some cornstarch. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, sugar and cornstarch. Interesting.
Yeah, so here we want to replace the eggs. And in the pastry creams, the eggs, basically what do they bring? It's just binding. They are binding the whole thing, okay? Once you have that, you're gonna delay with the milk. So of course it's plant-based milk. Here, I used, because I know, guys, I know you have this milk. It's Oatly. I found some in Europe. So
I have Oatly every day. And I first came upon Oatly in Berlin, where they were having a huge campaign. And now Oatly is taking over America. Thank God.
Yeah. And not only in North America. It's taking over everywhere, and it's great. So right now what I'm doing is, just because I have my powders, I want to delay with the milk, okay? So I don't put all the milk. I first delay, because otherwise you're gonna have some parts of some clumps.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if I'm making a mistake in my expressions, okay?
No, I'm thrilled. You're teaching me so much. This is an egg replacer. So if you want to make a pastry and you don't want to use eggs, which we shouldn't use, they're balls of cholesterol and they involve a lot of cruelty. You're saying you can use, tell us again, the two ingredients that are the alternative.
So I'm starting with sugar, then some cornstarch, and then I'm adding plant milk, and I'm mixing everything very well. Okay, I'm just making sure my fire works, and I think it does. Yes.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to repeat these are some of the desserts that Anais creates. And you can see Laduree, which is an incredible vegan French pastry restaurant in Beverly Hills. And she created the menu with Matthew Kenney, another one of our culinary heroes, who we photographed there at Laduree. So continue on.
Okay, now what I have this, I'm just putting it aside. I'm making sure my fire works again. Sorry.
No worries.
If it doesn't, maybe I have another one. So it's not a big problem.
Perfect.
So while I'm adjusting this, I'm going to show you. So I'm using vanilla, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's important. I know in North America, a lot of people love to use, extract, but I cannot emphasize on the need to have real spices, whole spices in your dishes. So here I'm using vanilla. So this is a vanilla pod, and I'm just opening it too. Of course, if you don't have, if you cannot find this, vanilla powder could work just as fine, But of course, I prefer to have the real, the real thing. It's, in pastry, it's very important. There's just a few ingredients like this that are very important, and vanilla, but it's really expensive, of course. So we want to pay attention to the way we use it and not use too much, and recycle it in other dishes. So I don't know if you could see, but I opened it in two, so I cut the tip, and I opened the pod in two. Oh, my fire is working. It's okay. So I'm opening it in two, and then I'm gonna just remove the inside. Okay, I'm using my knife, but not the cutting side, but the other side, and I'm just pressing down like this.
Ooh.
Yeah, and can you see all of the amazing content I have?
Okay. So tell me, what is that? What is that?
So this is the inside of the vanilla, and of course I don't know how to say it in English.
Vanilla bean. So that's a vanilla bean.
Yeah, it's the beans. Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, we eat things like vanilla and we never think about where it comes from. It comes from a plant. And That's an important thing to think about, is that so much that we don't even think of as vegan is vegan. Vanilla comes from a vanilla bean, a vanilla plant.
So can you see my, yeah? Okay.
Yes, perfect. I see.
So I'm doing the other side right now. Again, the other side, I cut, you see, and you use your whisk in order to insert it in the liquid, okay? Mm-hmm. Then what am I doing with this? I'm not throwing it away. I'm putting it in my saucepan, you see? Wow. I bring everything and I'm mixing, okay? Wow. I'm currently, again, preparing a pastry cream. So here, what we want to do when we prepare a pastry cream is to make sure we are always constantly stirring. Paying attention that it's not attaching to the bottom. And because of the cornstarch we have inside, it could really quickly, thicken and burn.
Well, so, Anais, I noticed that your stove is on very low. Is that intentional?
On very low?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be orange like that.
Oh no! Yeah, it's an European stove, so it's different.
Oh, but so is it high heat or medium heat or what?
Oh yeah. So here I just adapted as the best as I could. I would advise medium to low heat. Okay, don't put too much, otherwise it's gonna burn.
Okay.
And so we're gonna mix. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna explain to you the next, stages. So right now I want it to thicken. Okay. So I'm mixing, and then it's gonna thicken. And when it's thick, it's like a custard. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
you could eat it just like that, right?
Sorry?
You could just have this. Like, I might start eating before it gets to the end and just start eating.
Yeah, I know. I have a lot of people around me who love to do this. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, then when I'm done, I'm gonna use some vegan butter. Okay, here I have some vegan butter.
Yeah.
Again, the quantities will be recapped, and then I'm gonna add to this the vegan butter. Okay, I'm just sorry. I remove. When it's too hot, you can remove your saucepan. Okay, and make sure you're mixing well. Okay, you see it's gonna
gorgeous
thick. Okay, gorgeous. So what do we want? We don't have eggs in here. Okay, so we want to make sure it's well cooked, and it's very important that the starch, the way it's made, it needs to explode. Okay, every very tiny bit of starch needs to explode, otherwise it's gonna be grainy in your mouth when you eat it when it's cold. Okay, so we want to make sure it's well hot and homogeneous. Okay, so I'm mixing well, and I think I'm good. Okay, so when I'm done with this, I'm removing from the heat. I'm turning off, and I'm gonna add this vegan butter. So again, you're very lucky, guys, in North America. You have a lot of options for vegan butter.
Yes.
So I'm just sorry.
No. We're wrapped. I mean, this is fascinating.
Okay, so here I put my butter in it. Okay, I'm mixing well. So you see, you're gonna see the oil of the butter, melting a bit, and it's nice. It's okay. Okay, and I'm mixing very well. Okay.
Wow.
And it's gonna smoothen it a bit. It's gonna be nice and
now what about that vanilla bean? Do you take it out eventually? Because
yeah, I'm gonna answer this. So I'm done. Okay, it's well homogeneous, and then. And to answer your question, I'm gonna transfer everything in something that's flat. You need something that's flat enough. So we want it to get cold quickly. Okay, so we like to use a flat surface. So here I'm removing my whisk. So sometimes the vanilla bean stays in the lid.
Oh, there it is. It's right there.
Yes, you see?
Yes.
So I'm removing this, and then I'm leaving the vanilla bean into the cream. Yes.
Wow.
Very important to leave it, because here we're gonna go fast. But ideally, you would let it sit like this in the fridge for at least 2 hours.
Whoa.
So while it stays in the fridge, the vanilla keep
you could say it in French, maybe. We'll see if we can
the vanilla is gonna keep diffusing its aromas. Okay, so
yes.
very
Mon
nice.
Dieu.
And then when you're ready to use it, of course, we're gonna remove the vanilla bean. But as long as it stays, we leave it like this. It's a French chef technique. Okay.
Yes.
So then I'm using some film, and what's important is that don't let it sit on the counter for 15 minutes, because it's like a custard, so it's gonna create a film. If you leave it like this, it's gonna create kind of a crust, and we don't want this. So we need to put the film exactly, against the surface of the cream.
Got it.
In French, it's called filmer au contact.
Woo!
So
glamorous.
you film, in contact with the cream. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what it means. So here we are. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. I'm cheating a bit. I'm gonna put it in the freezer, but don't do this. So I'm putting this in the freezer, not the fridge. And next, I'm ready to prepare my sablé.
Fantastic.
Okay, this is the third element and the final. So what
to me, this is like a work of art. I mean, you are putting so much work in, and that's when I think of these dishes where you do these works of art, how many hours you must spend on them. I am completely blown away, but continue on.
No worries. So here it's gonna get a bit technical, so pay attention. We have some very tiny amount of milk, okay? Just to explain, we're gonna create a sablé, which is a biscuit, okay? So in general, in biscuits, we have some eggs, and don't use eggs here, so we need to replace them. Here they have a binding role again, so I'm gonna not use some starch here, but some milk, just a tiny bit.
And when we say milk, we always want to remind, for those just joining, we're talking about plant-based milk. No apologies. You know that it's not cow's breast milk, but we want to remind everybody it's cholesterol-free and made from plants and totally healthy. And it's Oatly in this case, which is oat milk, which I'm using today for my coffee. So continue on, my dear.
And you can use any other kind of plant-based milk. Honestly, for me, when I'm baking, I love to use both soy milk and oat milk. But it depends on what you're looking for. As the texture, every plant-based milk is so different with different features. So I like to combine them to optimize their features. But it's more about chemical, issues, and so I don't want to bother with that. Just use any plant-based milk you want. So I'm putting in this milk some, I don't know if you know this, but it's some psyllium husk. Psyllium husk, it's kind of a powder available everywhere in an organic store, or Whole Foods, and you can find it anywhere in the complement, in the nutrition section of your store. So you put this in the milk, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna mix them, just looking for, okay. I'm gonna whisk them together, or mix with you can use a spoon, or a fork. And I'm just gonna let them sit for a few seconds while I'm preparing the butter and the sugar. So I'm just...
Now, I want to warn you, are you going to be using that device over there?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, we have a tradition around here, and that is every time we use a blender or a blender-like device, we dance.
Oh my God. Really?
Yes.
I don't care. I was like, what?
We could just do a little dance once we get started during the blender. That's it. Okay. Thank you. Once we hit the blender, we'll dance. Continue on.
Okay, so plant-based butter.
Okay.
Sugar.
Mm-hmm. And this has the psyllium in it.
No,
Oh.
the psyllium sits here with the milk, and you see it's thickening. Okay, so this is what we're gonna want. So sugar.
Yeah, got it.
I'm putting it back. I'm gonna show you. Okay, and I'm whisking. The butter needs to be at room temperature for at least 20 to 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna add to this. Then when it's creamy, so you cream the butter with the sugar, and when it's creamy, I'm adding this, which has thickened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see.
It's going quite fast. It's gonna be okay. And just to anticipate, I'm gonna add to the butter, sugar, and this. I'm gonna add some flour, baking powder, and sea salt.
Oh, interesting.
Ideally, fleur de sel. Fleur de sel is the sea salt, but with some crystals, and it's very nice because if you bite into the biscuit, you can have like some sea salt and the.
Oh yeah, I love the sugar salt aspect.
Oh yeah. So what
Very sweet.
what I have here, just to show you, is this. Okay.
Wow.
Then I'm adding this. I'm gonna mix again, and then I'm adding the flour and baking powder and salt. Okay, back to mixing just for a few seconds, just to combine everything. And then I'm adding this, which is flour, baking powder, and salt. And then the biscuit is done. You just have to flatten it between two parchment papers, put it in the freezer for 1 hour, and then we're ready to cut it and to bake it. So I'm gonna show you everything, but everything is already prepared, so we don't have to wait for it. So I'm ready to add. I'm gonna show you. Let me just. Sorry for the noise.
No, this is all fabulous. We're seeing how it's done.
So baking is so much noise. My partner is always asking why I'm baking and not, writing some books. And I'm always asking him that it's so fascinating that I cannot stop. So this is the mix. And then I adding to this the flour, salt, and baking powder. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then I'm removing my spatula. Okay? Putting back. And if you have it, it's preferable to use this. This is a paddle attachment, okay?
Oh, look at that. I've never seen that before.
Just so you know, all of these steps can be done by hand, okay? But I prefer to use this because it's, obviously it's easier and quicker. Yeah. So I'm mixing back just for a few seconds because we want the powders to integrate the cream. When it's done, I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna put them between. I'm gonna put it on the parchment paper. It's gonna be a bowl of dough. I'm gonna put it on the parchment paper, and I'm gonna, do like this, and then use my rolling pin to flatten it out. Okay.
This is what I love. Old-fashioned rolling pin. I have not heard anybody in years of doing lunch break lives mention a rolling pin. You are the first. And that means this is slow cooking. This is why, honestly, the French have a much healthier level of weight, is that they're eating slowly and savoring the process as opposed to eating quickly. I believe that.
Do you know how old is this rolling pin?
No.
I think it must be 60 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow. Wow.
I know, it's crazy. My grandma just let it to me for the show, and she told me it was offered for my wedding. Can you believe this? It's incredible. So I'm done. I'm gonna show you.
Wow.
This. I'm gonna use this, which is called a corn in French. And to make sure we have all of the dough, and I'm putting this here, okay, like this. I'm using my hands at first. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes. Closer to you and put this down. Okay, it's better now.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm making a mess, but basically the idea is to use your rolling pin and just flattening it out like this. Okay. Sorry, it's not the most convenient way to do it, but okay, like this.
Yes. Wow.
And you can even do this and this. You see?
Yes.
And put this like this, and then you can flatten it without having to worry about, you have a nice shape like this. You see? So I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but basically it's like this, and I'm gonna show you the result. So this should sit in the freezer for about 1 hour to make sure it's hard. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna put this in the freezer, and I'm gonna get back in the fridge the one I already prepared for you. Just in 1 second.
Oh, wow.
So what do I have here? So I have a perforated, baking sheet, and I'm adding a mat, which is, you see, there are some holes in it.
Yeah.
It just allows everything to bake evenly, but don't worry about all of this. Just put a parchment paper if you prefer, or a silicone mat is gonna work too. Okay. I have the nice one, which is, more, it's more rigid. Okay.
It's been frozen.
It's been almost frozen. Okay, just for 1 hour in the freezer. So I open it, and what I'm gonna do very simply is use, a circle like this. You can put any kind of, help me with any. Can you help me with how it's called?
Any circumference, circle, or right.
It's gonna work. So you put this
cylinder.
Yes, thank you. You see, I don't remove. I'm just keeping it in the circle, in the cylinder.
Wow.
And I'm putting this here. So I'm putting this aside. I'm putting this here, and I'm just baking it. Okay, like this. You don't touch anything. You bake it at 320 Fahrenheit for 22 minutes, and then at 390 for 5 minutes. I'm gonna recap all of this in the recipe, just so you know. So we pretend that I'm baking it, and I have the final one here. So it should look like this, okay, after baking.
Oh. Wow.
Okay? Very crispy. Don't let it, on the floor. Don't let it go, because otherwise it's going to be 1,000 pieces. So when we have this, just to explain quickly, I'm supposed to, but I think we're running out of time. So I'm going to show directly the plating.
Take
But
all the time you want.
Oh, really?
Now, just yes, you do whatever you want. We're here for you.
Okay, so basically, I'm gonna go to my fridge, and I'm gonna get back.
While you're doing that, I'm going to just explain to our viewers who might be joining us. We are talking to Anais Galpin. She is an extraordinary vegan pastry chef, one of the world's top vegan pastry chefs. Here are some of her creations. She helped Matthew Kenney, another famed vegan chef, create the menu for Laduree, and her works are considered works of art, and she is showing us how to make an incredible pastry. So we'll go back to Anais in the kitchen. She is in France. Where in France are you, Anais?
I am sorry, I'm in Lorraine. So Lorraine is northeast of France.
Paris, northeast of Paris.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So this is where I'm from, actually, and I'm currently at my grandparents' apartment. Yes. So it's countryside. So it's really nice and grounding and nice to go back to the roots. So before, between two projects and appointments, I like to stay in the region, because it's I enjoy family time and nice simple things.
Wonderful.
So what I have here, it's basically the cream that has the cream we just made at the beginning, the pastry cream. This is the cream that after sitting in the fridge for 2 hours or more, you just put the cream, which is it's gonna look like a pudding almost. Mm-hmm. And you put in the KitchenAid, or you can do it by hand, and you just whisking it to incorporate a bit of air and to make sure that it's creamy and not less a pudding and more a cream. So this is the result here that we have. It's already in the pastry bag. Yes. I put a tip because it's not obligated. Of course, you could do just cutting the tip of the pastry bag, and it's gonna work just fine. But I like the idea of having something very precise. So
got it.
I'm ready to plate right now. Just one more thing before plating. Do you remember we made a marinade with the strawberries?
Yes.
So because we don't want. It's a pastry. We don't want to have any juice going everywhere on the pastry. We're gonna have to sieve this to make sure that we don't have too much, water or juice, on the dessert. So I'm just gonna make some room here. Here I have the sieve. It's called a chinois in France, and you put this here. And you make sure that you have, sorry, I'm just looking for, 1 second. Okay, yeah, here. So you see, I'm just removing the excess of juice because we marinated it with lemon juice. So it's, and the strawberries themselves, they would give some juice. So we just sieve it. We still want it to be a bit, juicy, but not too much. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is my preparation, and I'm ready now to plate. So I have here a big, nice white plate. And, okay. Mm-hmm. I'm going to cut the tip of, the pastry bag, and I need some scissors to do this. I'm just going to cut the tip. I'm gonna make sure, no, it's not the right. Let me just cut it right.
And obviously those are disposable pastry bags, and then you just get the little metal thingamajiggy from a store.
Exactly. Yeah, you could find this. I'm pretty sure that you can find it easily in any baking store.
This is a standard technique.
Exactly. Yes. So. Just okay. You see, I'm ready.
Yes.
So one nice tip when you're plating and you don't want everything to go like this, just put just a tiny bit of cream.
Oh, that's such a good trick. I love it. I love that trick.
See? It's nice. Okay. So we just want to make sure that we have kind of a circle like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of these in the center, kind of a surprise element.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Whoa. This is like a work of art.
Oh no, it's quite simple, but takes a bit of just takes a bit of time. Okay, then what I want is to surround these with quarters of strawberries. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if you can see well.
Yes, you're taking those quarters of strawberries and you're placing them around the vanilla-ish custard / cream that is creamy now. Wow, look at this. Look at this.
Of course, you could do it any way you want. You could do, it's just a question of what you prefer. A lot of things about this dessert I like is that you could, do, it's a base. You can, you can flavor the cream with any kind of flavor or herb or, spice you want. You could use any fruit, or depending on the season, you could, you see what I mean? You could do it any way you want, and it's a bit
blueberries. You could use raspberries.
Exactly. And here, so I have, you see, I did the round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then
a photograph of this when you're done. We want to feature all this. Oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, I already cut. So this is it's 1/8 of a strawberries. It's half the quarter. But again, you can do it however you want. I just like to do it like this. So you could do it like this, for example.
Wow. Look at this. This is amazing.
Okay.
I would be afraid to eat this. It's like, it's honestly belongs in a museum.
No. You have to eat it. It's amazing. Okay. So I'm just finishing this. And then I'm going to add the red currants. Oh, wow. And we finish with the chiffonade of basil and the zest.
Now, you said red currants?
Currants, sorry.
Yeah, no, but explain. That's something I'm not that familiar with.
Okay, it's very acidic. It's like it's a berry,
mm-hmm.
And it's yeah. I don't know how to say more than this. It's I'm pretty sure you can find it in the U.S. in North America,
no,
but it's
rare. I've never actually seen one. I usually see them if they're in a jam and they're already a jam. So
I understand. Yeah. So basically, it comes like this.
Like little grapes. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Currants.
And I love to use them in the summer because it brings a lot of acidity, but not too much, and it's very fruity and it has a lot of taste, very intense flavors. So don't use too much. Just just to bring some a nice note to the dessert. So I'm playing with it. You could do it any way you want. Just doing something.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Like this. And finally, you could I'm gonna add a bit of the chiffonade. I could you could cut it a bit more, just adding some touches like this. I love to have some herbs on top of red. It's nice. And to finish, I have the lemon. This tool, and just wait.
What was the name of that tool again?
It's a brand. It's called Microplane. And it's very nice. So I'm just cleaning my plate because what's nice if I have some.
When I clean my plate, it's a totally different context.
And what I like to do is, because the plate is clean, it's in the center, and I love to have a bit of zest around.
Yes.
So I'm just zesting it like this.
Oh, look at that. This is amazing.
It's really nice, and it looks like it's raining some zest on top of this nice tartlet. And
That you hold this up, and just so we can get a nice look at this work of art. Look how beautiful it is. It is glorious. I have to tell you, I am blown away by your talent. You are an artist. You're an artist.
Thank you so much for your words. It's actually, it's mostly about just respect. Very important to respect the steps I'm gonna send you.
Yes.
Respect the quantities. I'm gonna provide the recipe in both grams and spoons. But I would strongly advise that if you want to make a bit of French pastry, I would strongly advise to use a scale in either grams or pounds, but use a scale, because some things are at a gram. It's very important. And finally, it seems amazing, but you can do it. Anyone with a bit of patience, following the steps, can do it. And I think it may be simple at the end, and it's a wow effect. It's really nice. And
hold it up one more time, and just get it as close as you can so that we can really see it.
Okay, let me do this.
It's a really amazing, amazing dish. And the beauty of it, the aesthetics, and you have to realize this is one plate, and they are making these by the dozens. So it's like, it's unbelievable that you're able to keep that level of discipline. Do you know what I'm saying? That you can make these in large quantities. Let me ask you very quickly your vegan story as we wrap up. How did you go from cooking with cow's butter, cow's milk, and etc., to using the plant-based options, which are obviously healthier? There's zero cholesterol, and there's also fewer chemical products generally. What was your evolution?
Very quickly. So I didn't really have to bake the classics as a non-vegan, because I of course I was non-vegan at some point. I switched by being a vegetarian when a year after I arrived to live in North America. So I'm based in Montreal right now. I've been living in Montreal for 8 years. I was a lawyer there. I'm coming from France. I came then there to study law. I finished my law degree there, became a lawyer. At the same time, was transitioning to vegetarian and to vegan lifestyle. And at some point, I decided to stop being a lawyer because it was not really for me. I wanted to be more in contact of people, sharing, making things with my hands, create. And so I decided to transition to from being a lawyer to cooking and baking. And of course, there was no question of, learning how to bake with eggs or milk, because I was already vegan by the time. So I was like, I need to do it vegan from scratch from the beginning. So I decided to, go very in depth with this. And, I designed all the bases that we have in non-vegan pastry and made them vegan. For example, the butter, the pastry cream, the whipped cream, and all of the crusts and pastry, puff pastry, and all of this. So it was a long journey, but from the beginning, I did it vegan. So sometimes it's very funny because I'm talking with some, traditional chefs in France, and they're like, okay, but it's, it's how the same way you do it non-vegan. I'm like, I know technically how you do it, but I never did it non-vegan. So it's so funny because it's a lot of situations that are, interesting, and it's an admirable journey, I think, with everyone around me, very interesting chefs, and I cannot emphasize more on the need to share with non-vegans too. It's very important. They have so much to share with us, with everyone, and I think it's a question of working together and collaborating, and it's the best way to have the best products.
Well, you are on the forefront of change. You are one of the top vegan pastry chefs on the planet. I am so honored and thrilled that you joined us today and revealed some of your secrets and your incredible precision. I'm super, super impressed and inspired. And I hope you join us again sometime and that we can collaborate in future.
That would be amazing. It's my honor. Thank you so much, Jane. And congrats for all of your amazing work. It's crazy. Thank you so much.
Well, hopefully you'll be a part of it down the road as well.
I hope so.
Au revoir. Oh, by the way, this is the only thing I know how to say in French. Je suis vegan, je ne mange pas viande, seulement les fruits et les légumes, s'il vous plaît. Pas de beurre, pas de fromage.
That's all you need.
All right. Thanks again. Wow.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye, Jane. Thank you.
Take some photos.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.